Good evening, everybody. Sorry, a minute late there. I was actually sitting here enjoying watching my trains go around and I missed the start time. How is everyone doing? Let me just call up the chat now so I can see who's in the house tonight. Right, here we got there. Digger Evans, Motorola. Hi, Digger. How you doing? Jerry BVR. Good evening, Jerry. Tom Houston Motorola. Hi, Tom. How's it going? And Flymo, top mods in the house. How you doing, Flymo? Maura King. Hi, Maura. Who else we got here now? Alan White. Good evening, Alan. Wolf 16 XPW. Good evening. My youngest started upper sixth today. Had to make sure he shaved his beard off first, though. Simon Model Railway Showcase. How you doing, Simon? And we got anyone else in? Joshua W6 Gaming. Good evening, Joshua. How you doing? Andy Dobson. Good evening. Another stream the other night. The youngsters discussed going back to school. Then one said he cried every September. He was a teacher. So how's everyone doing? Oh, Valerie Green's in the house. Hi, Valerie. Anthony Dodge is there as well. Hi, Anthony. Chris, Valley's 56. Good evening, Chris. Oh, you're all coming in now. I was at the Ulster show on Saturday. I've done a video on it. That will be out tomorrow. So that's tomorrow's video on it. It was great to catch up with a few of you up there. Some of you who are, say, you watch in the background or lurkers. It was great to meet you and shake your hand and have a chat. It was quite a good show. There was a few layouts there I hadn't seen before. Really enjoyed it. Stopped off on the way up there to get a Greg's. And then on the way back, stopped and got a Burger King. So it was a good day out. Had youngest daughter with me. She was there helping me do the filming. And she is coming to Stepfold with me when I'm over there in October. Where'd that lump of dirt come from? So she will be helping operate the Inver layout. Yeah, it was a good show. I enjoyed it, Tom. It was really good. Brian, how you doing? Lemington Centre Model Railway. Brian, feel free to put the link up to your web shop there. You're a mod, so put it up, please, because if you're waiting on me, I will forget and I won't remember. So work away on that. I've seen you put a post up saying you got some new stock on there. Also, Brian, I will be skipping out on another live stream next Thursday. So I don't know if you've got time and you fancy doing an hour next Thursday, Brian. I know Rob and Grace usually step in, but from their last video, they said they're peeling back a bit because they're a bit overworked. So I didn't, if they want to do it, they can do it. Or anybody else out there fancy doing the slot next week? Oh, there we have it. Trice, Brian and Diggers put it up. So do check that out, guys. Well, obviously, I got this little bit of track is going dead, or maybe the wheels are just too dirty on that loco. Right, so tonight I have got, let me just move this over here. I got some Thomas engines here. Young modeler popped into the museum with his mum at the weekend and said, is there anyone here who can help fix my trains? So they left them. And what I'm going to do tonight is I'm going to check these over, give them a clean. I've got a bag of track and controllers here to test for them as well, because they say it's not working properly. So I'm going to do that on this stream here, so I can point them back to it and say, look, this is what I've done with it. These are some of the things you need to watch out. So that's what I'm going to do on here tonight. What fell into my bag? I actually didn't buy anything, Simon, strangely enough. There was a good few bits and pieces there, but there was nothing that really thought, oh yeah, I'll get that. So I didn't actually buy anything. Kyle Stevens, how you doing, Kyle? He hasn't been running them through a paddling pool, has he? Hot Dog Pilot Andy, good evening, Andy. How you doing? So what we have here is we have good old Thomas, Percy, and Gordon. So I've got my trusty Gauge Master Transformer up to this piece of track, my DCC Concepts Rolling Road. So I'm going to pop each one on just to see what's going on. So Percy's on first. Can you see that? Move that in. So I'll apply a little bit of power and see what happens. Let's just run it for a minute or two while I check the chat. And then I'll reverse it just to make sure it goes back as well. Now, Percy did have one of the cylinders had come off. I glued that back on a couple of days ago, so it'll be ready for tonight. So that's fixed. Again, you guys got any questions or anything, pop them into the chat. Mick92, how you doing, Mick? As I said, I won't be on next week because I'm having a few days away. Me and the missus are escaping without the kids for the weekend. Did I find anything else interesting in the box you donated? No, it was just a load of the old TT120 stuff. There was another box of bits that came through as well, or another bag of bits. And what I did find in that, is if I can lay my hands on it, was a load of brass etching kits of Donegal rail cars and things. So they were quite interesting. All right, let's just change direction on that. So Percy seems to be running all right. The wheels are a little bit dirty on here, so I'm going to give them a bit of a clean. They're not overly dirty. All right, Percy seems okay, so I'm going to put him to one side. Let's try Thomas. Yeah, Thomas is working. So what I'm going to use for cleaning. Okay, so some of this everybody on here already knows, but this is for the benefit of anybody who doesn't and some newer people to the hobby. So what I've got here, because you can pick this up in almost any chemist in Ireland, and I'm sure you can in the UK as well, is surgical spirits. But surgical spirits is actually a mixture of methylated spirits and IPA. And I find it helps clean things. So a little bit into an old medicine container, just using earbud, and then just clean the wheels like so. Clean the rim. It's also a good idea to clean the back of them because that's where the pickups are. And just run that around. I'll say these wheels aren't overly dirty, but I'm just giving them a clean because there is a little bit of dirt on some of them. And obviously you can only clean so much, the top bit you can't. So what I do is just pop it on the track with a bit of power, just so they spin. And then I can clean the rest of them. Kyan's let me watch because he sold Thomas the Tank Locos. Better pulls the moisture out of the skin too, yeah. Of course, these are the Bachmann models of Thomas, not the Hornby ones. Of course, they're very, as models, they're very toy-like, but that's exactly what you want with Thomas. So there's no extra bits on them. They're quite robust. So if you've got kids with them, they're going to last a bit longer, I would have thought. Oh, it's Brian in the house. Hi, Brian. Aunt Hermitage Road is in the house. How you doing? Now, the other thing I use for cleaning is, got this in Halford. I think it was a fiver for this can. It's an electrical contact cleaner for cleaning tracks. Spray some onto a rag, and away you go. Clean down the tracks. I think I'm actually going to need to clean my Class 181 because it seems to keep stopping. Right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of this cleaner and spray it into a little container so I can use that. Let's send Thomas the other way. Yeah, he's working okay. So I'm going to take Gordon here and use some of that to clean the wheels. Doing the same thing again. Around there and around the sides. The important wheels to clean are obviously these ones here that have the electrical pickups on them. But the other wheels need cleaning as well, because if they get a build-up of dirt on them, they can cause derailments. So again, pop it on the track so it spins around. And there you can see Gordon's a little bit more dirty. You can see the dirt coming off there. Oh, Jason's in the house. Sent me a Facebook message. All right, I just seen that, Jason. Is it all right if I can tell people? Obviously, I suppose I must. It's a silly question. Yeah, Jason just messaged me there to say he's going to be late by half an hour. He's not starting to 9. So what I'll do is I'll carry on to 9 until Jason is ready. I did set up a stream redirect. So when I finish, it should go straight over to Jason. Yes, Brian finally got his A class. He was up at the show in Belfast, and that's where I seen him over Chris Dyer's stand, where he had all the models there. Right, so Thomas seems to be working okay, so we'll switch that off, put him to one side. I didn't clean his wheels yet, so I'll clean him now. And we'll put Gordon on. Let him have a run. And I'm just going to give good old Thomas a clean. Thomas is obviously the one that's run most because he's got the most dirt on those wheels. Good old man taking up the slack straight away. I didn't see if you replied to that question I put to you, Brian. Maybe send me a message, or if there's anybody else on there that would like to do a live next Thursday when I'm not around. All right, that's them clearing it off there. So I'll just let Gordon run for a while I look through the chat. Well, we have some Irish folk in the chat. Any advice on how to save money on orders bought in the mainland? Do you mean how to save money on postage to someone in the Republic of Ireland? Is that what you're asking, Brian? If you are there, I think there is a company that does shipping to the south via Northern Ireland to get around the customs, I think. If you send me a Facebook message to remind me to look it up, and I'll see if I can find out for you. The only other way is if they know anybody in Northern Ireland, get it posted there. Real Videos and hi, good evening. That's Matthew, isn't it? How are you doing? Yeah, the prices weren't cheap at any of the trade stands, to be fair, Brian. Yeah, of course, the problem is because it comes from the UK, anything that comes in with Royal Mail on it, they're immediately stopping it, sending a letter out to the recipient going, there's duty due on this. And as far as I'm concerned, they seem to pick a number out of thin air. And then as well as that, they charge you an admin fee of something like $3.50 as well on top of that. So it makes things very, very expensive. Anything I could suggest, as I say, there was a shipping company that you could use, but I can't remember off the top of my head who they are. Because I think basically the way they worked is it was shipped to an address in Northern Ireland and then shipped onwards from there. Now, my understanding as well is that the law is changing again at the end of this year. That if you're buying anything from the UK, you need to have a trusted trader number. I'm not 100% on that. Cheaper to take the ferry over yourself, Brian. Hi, Richard. How you doing? Yeah, customs are a real pain. They always have been in this country. When it comes to getting things, as we say here, from the mainland. Like, it's one of the things that affected the Donegal Railways when it was running, because of course it came across the border from Strabane, which is in the north, and then you had the customs at Castlefin, and you had all the stories of people hiding stuff up their petticoats. The story of the men with their cigarettes. They would lean out of the coach windows and put their cigarettes up in the gullies of the coaches. And then when they went through the customs, and they'd reach out and get them back out again. And stories of one particular guy, they knew he was smuggling butter. It was like such a thing to be smuggling. You know, we're not talking drugs or alcohol or anything, butter. And he had it hidden under his hat. And they sort of knew this. So what they did is they brought him in to question him, sat him beside the fire, which of course made him sweat and made the butter melt. And they were sat there and they kept him there for like about an hour till all the butter had melted and ran down his face. And then they let him go on his way. There's the notion that it's a bit of a fiddle for both sides. Yeah, but that's the way it was. Like when I was growing up here in Donegal in the 80s, back when you had customs on the actual border, you know, you'd nip across the border to buy stuff because it was a lot cheaper. And then you're wondering when you're coming across the border, were the customs going to be out and were they going to stop you and take your shopping off you? Of course, nowadays with social media and everything, they'd be up on Facebook going, the customs are out at stopping at such and such a place. But what I used to do when I was younger is obviously back in the 80s, the coins were all the same size. The Irish punts, the pennies and the tuppences and everything were exactly the same size as the UK pennies and tuppences. And what I used to do is go through my change and pick out all the sterling coins and keep them to one side. So when I'd go into the north, I could spend them. I bought my first Walkman with that, with bags and bags of pennies. It's 15 quid, I think I got it for in the north. Oh, you're going to be busy this weekend then, Matthew? Matthew here is somebody who volunteers on the trains. He's a steward on the trains in Northern Ireland and in the south in Dublin. Of course, at the moment, steam trains aren't allowed to run on the main line in the north, but they do run in the south. So he often gets the Enterprise down to Dublin so he can operate the trains. Oh, I just missed, what was that pun from Simon? Smuggling butter, guessing he spread sometime there by the fire. Yeah, so Brian says, members of 5-year-old pretending to be asleep top of a box of butter coming home from Newry. Used to get reward for handing in an illegal still. So when the still became clapped out, hand it in and buy a new one. Cannot believe it's not butter. Oh, Simon. Yeah, that was exactly it, Maury. Coming across the border and they would, you know, things like that. You go maybe do your Christmas food shopping. And we're not talking smuggling hundreds or thousands worth of goods here. You're talking, you're saving yourself maybe 10, 20 quid on a week shopping or something, which, you know, back in the 80s was a good bit of money, I suppose. Well, Clive's in the house. Newland Railway. How you doing, Clive? Of course, back in the 80s, there was something else that was smuggled in the north because they were actually illegal here in good old Catholic Ireland, if that gives you any sort of clue. And they had to be smuggled in. Oh, Alan's in the house. Lord Al, how you doing? I'd have asked the police for some bread. I'd like to get my money's worth. All this before Brexit, yeah. My mother got a leather coat in Spain. Dudley's customer said, Jesus, must have been cold in Spain. Right, so these locos, I've given them a bit of a cleanup. They're running okay. Because the message I got was that stuff wasn't working. So let's... We got Gauge Master Power Controller here. So I'm going to take this out and just test it. I'm sure it's working because this is Gauge Master and their stuff's pretty bulletproof. So we've got the power supply and the controller. And the wire. Well, this looks like it's never been used. Right, let's plug this in. And that's where is my little track tester. Put that across the terminals. Oh. So all I'm going to do to this is just take the wires, connect them, and just use my track tester on them to make sure they light up. Very handy tools, this. I think this was about a $5 from Block Signaling. So if I just hold them on connections. That lights up. And if I change direction, the other one lights up. So this is working. Which I didn't think that would be a problem. I'll put this back in the box. Wobbly Gordon. I can't believe it's not Gordon. He's just wobbly because it's only the 3 main driving wheels I've got supported. Oh, he's got the eyes moving as well. Don't know if the camera picking that up. Move the camera down. Looks kind of creepy. Right, let's put this back. No, I'll have nightmares. Yeah, these are the Bachmann ones. They're, let's say they're not, like I think the Hornby ones were a little bit more detailed, but I think Bachmann have gone for these. They've made them quite robust because the build of them, it feels a lot thicker, the plastic. So I think they've designed them specifically to be a bit rough handled. So I think they take a bit more punishment than the Hornby ones. I mean, they are toys. No, the instructions in there. So locos are working. This controller's working. They did have another controller, which is probably the root of the problem. Because it's one of these. Now, these Hornby controllers are okay, but we all know what happens when they short out. You just switch them off, let them reset, come back on again. All right, so let's plug this in, make sure this is working. I always find these Hornby controllers just to be a little bit temperamental. All right, lights coming on. Okay, let's find the end. And put it on the back. Coming on. Change direction. Other light comes on. So the controller's working fine. But the one thing with these controllers is if it hits a short or whatever, it'll knock out. You have to switch it, power it off, power it back on again to clear it. So that might have been one of the issues they're having. Could even describe the logo as mincy long, or something on PC. I never fully got over Underground Ernie. I actually have an Underground Ernie somewhere that runs on 00 gauge. Is it Underground Ernie? I'm sure it's Underground Ernie. Yeah, they are overly sensitive, so they do any little. If you're running over a point and it shorts or whatever, then that's sort of the end of it. So all that is working. Now, the other thing they sent me is all their track, which is Hornby. I think that's the 609, which is third radius. And when I looked at this the other day, they had 8 curves and only 7 off the other side, which is, well, that's actually Bachmann. No, it's Pico, which is the same as the 607, the second radius. So, if anybody doesn't know, that's a standard sort of set track curve. This is called a double curve. That would be a single curve. They tend to come, Pico, Bachmann, and Hornby tend to make the same radii. So you've got first, second, and third. That being the third, and that being the second radius. Don't ask me what the measurements are off the top of my head. I'd have to look them up. Kieran, J94, how are you doing, Kieran? Yes, it has the Hornby power track connector, which I find them to be unreliable. And also something else you should watch out. Anybody who's going over to DCC, you cannot use one of them to connect the DCC power supply. They do one for DCC, and the difference is the little tabs on it are green. So that's the DCC compatible one. This one here has a little capacitor in it to help with the noise cancellation. So these won't work if you wired DCC up to them. They'll work fine for DC, but not for DCC. Right, so that's the power connector. Now that's one thing they did say was the power. So all I want to say here on track is obviously set track like this. People have train sets, they take it out, build it on the table or the floor and take it apart again. What happens over time is the fish plates do get worn and they get loose because you're relying on them to carry the electricity around the track. And if they're not in properly tight enough, that's what happens. So if you have any young ones out there and they want to use track, if you can find, just build yourself a small baseboard, just big enough for the oval of track and pin it down. It'll be a lot more reliable. I'm just saying all these things in here because obviously I'm hoping that the person who left this in, they can look back on this stream, see what I've done and get the information. So I think what I'll do is to a couple of the straights is I will solder on some droppers so they have a better connection. Because they did supply, because obviously these are, oh, there's a little step there. That must be off. Nope. There's a little blue step there. It looks like Thomas's, but his are intact. So I presume it must be off of Gordon somewhere. All right, I'll check that in a minute. But yeah, what they've got here, these are obviously the, oh no, they're Pico. The Pico power supplies for attaching to the track. Again, not 100% reliable. So I'll get my soldering iron out and soon I'm going to be on to 9 o'clock. I can do that with you guys watching. So here's your chance, guys, to see if I burn my fingers again. So let's put this track away. Of course, the other thing is if you use this electrical contact cleaner, spray it on a cloth and just wipe down the rails. You can, if you so wish, use a cotton wool bud to go up and down them. But if you've got them pinned down, you can just use a rag. Yeah, so let's put this away. I'll pick out a couple of double straights. So obviously, like that, that's a single straight. That's a double straight. And then you also get a triple straight, which obviously is 3 of the singles. So let's get 2 straights. Oops. And I'll solder a couple of droppers onto them so the guys have a little bit of better contact. I was trying to get hold of the woman who dropped them in today, but I don't know whether the phone number she gave me is wrong, whatever, but I couldn't get text messages, wouldn't send through, so might have to wait for her to contact the museum and go, where's my trains? Right, let's clear some of this stuff away. I'll go in the bin. All right, we'll turn Gordon off now. Oh, maybe it's off. Ah, there it is, off the tender. That's where it's broken off. So, get the glue out in a minute. A little bit of glue. All these over here, out of the way. So I can get the soldering iron and burn my fingers. Oh, that's their screwdriver. Right, let me just have a quick look at the chat, see if I missed anything. Yeah, I've tried before to take the capacitor out of them, and it just destroys them. So got that out to solder droppers onto it, didn't we? Not all Hornby products are bad. I would agree with that, Brian. The thing with, I've said this before about Hornby, is they do a range of products from your basic railroad ones through to your more detailed models. You know, like I've got some nice detailed Hornby stuff here. Like I got a couple of Class 56s from Kerno. They were on sale. Highly detailed, nice, heavy, good pullers. And likewise, I've got some of the railroad stuff, which are lighter. Will only pull about 2 carriages up an incline. But then you're paying 80, 90 quid for one of them as opposed to 200 quid for one of the more detailed ones. So they do the range. Yes, Anna, I'm on to 9 because Jason's running late tonight. Wait, we burn fingers here? You've piqued my interest. Yeah, see, everyone waits to see if I burn myself. And if I do I swear? Or do I manage to contain it? Hi, Ava, how's it going? She might contact me soon and say, you have caused confusion and delay. Also, where are my trains? And they get it wrong, they get it really wrong. Yeah. Hi, Alan. How you doing? Yeah, the layout's coming on. Anyone who hasn't tuned in for a while, I've got a couple of loops running on. They're going to be running like this as testing for a while. They're not wired in properly, which is why some of the trains keep stopping all the time because they're also only connected in certain points and relying on the fish plates. All right, here comes the soldering iron. All right, let's put this on to heat up. Solder. Right, I did put the other straight away in the bag, didn't I? So, because they have 2 loops, I'll just solder on 2 connections. Of course, now I've got to find where my wire is. Oh, before I forget, last month I put up a thing on the community forum if anybody wanted me to ask me a question that I need to do a video or something on or answer in the live streams. Somebody put up about doing DCC point control. So I got myself one of these. So this will control 8 points using the little solenoid seat motors that I use. So this particular board here, I'm actually going to use it on this board. But over the next couple of weeks, because I've never wired one of these up, is I'm going to do a video on setting up one of these up and seeing how it works, if it does work. So that video will be out in a couple of weeks. And also somebody else put a question up about DC and running trains from one loop to another. So I'm hoping to do that maybe over the weekend. I'll set up a couple of loops on the dining room table and try and go through that. I don't agree with the price rise and we're losing money and decide to raise their price. Yeah, well, whoever does agree with the price rise, unless you're the person raising the prices. All bets in on Mark Burney. Barry, how you doing, Barry? I never get burnt soldering. I get someone else to do it. I'm just here for the entertainment and possible foul language. Right, let's find some wire. Oh, here it is. All right, wire, strippers. Where is my little tip cleaner? Let me just go off and rummage around for that. Where did I put that? Right, I can't find that for now, so I'll have to carry on without it for now. Right, let's cut a couple of cables, a couple of wires, strip them. I'm just going to make a couple of tails. Let's put on. And I'll find a couple of connectors. Oh, thank you very much, Alan, for the super chat. So we got us. Price rise in a tight economy is a death spiral. Yeah, I do worry about how long Hornby's going to be with us. It's not that the Hornby is in, or the hobby is in trouble. It's just there's so many people now pumping out decent products. When you look at what a Curascale give out and their price, I hope you're all right, Barry. Just see your message there. You're just out of hospital. Donegal Railways, greetings from South Africa. How are you doing, sir? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're keeping well. Saw a video where the title was "Prices Aren't Dear, It's We Who Are Poor." The thing about it is, no, it's all this kit just to put 2 wires on. RGJ Trains, how you doing, guys? Grace and Rob, you keeping well? I mentioned to Brian earlier on, I'm off again next Thursday. I said to Brian if he wanted to do a stream. I don't know if you guys are available. I did see your videos that you're sort of stepping back, well, not stepping back, but you're just not doing as much, obviously being mindful that this YouTube lark takes up a lot of time. Ah, plugged it in, didn't switch the damn thing on. Right, let's just wait for that heat up. And while that's heating up, well, there it is. I knew I put it somewhere. So let's take us. See, on these tracks, there's usually somewhere at the back where you can do a bit of soldering without. So I'm just going to cut those little bits of plastic away. And I'll drop the track on the floor. Hi Tim, how you doing? Before criticizing the prices of model trains, rolling stock and accessories, people should think about the cost of employees, design projects and shipping. Yeah, that's true. And like anybody who has run a business themselves, there's all these costs involved. And when you have like the new startups, they don't necessarily need to pay for an office. They can do their design from home, if you like. Oh, so you have a home office. They can communicate via Zoom, conference calls, whatever. So you don't need a physical premises anymore, especially when you're getting everything manufactured in China. Because when you take into consideration the cost of having premises, you know, heating, lighting, telephones, rent, maintenance, insurance, that's quite a significant cost to a company. Hi Ian, how you doing? Yeah, it was great to meet you as well. I met loads of people up there over the weekend. It was great to everybody popping along to have a chat. Hi Robin Grace, you're never late. Practice what you preach. Yeah, there might be a bit of that, Tim, as well, sort of bad planning, but every business is guilty of that. And then you never know what the economy is going to throw at you. And like, I think model railways is a great hobby, and it can be an expensive hobby. So, good night, Adam. Sleep tight. That's Adam, my youngest. He's off to bed, so he sometimes sits there and watches my live stream. Trouble is, I'm doing a live stream. Oh, of course, yeah, that's the first of the month, isn't it? Well, the options there, Brian, if you want to do it, or Robin Grace, if you want to do it, or if there's anybody else who wants to do it. No worries. Next week. All right. Yeah, let me know, Grace. Because whoever wants to do it, I'll just send it out on my social media and put the links up and everything. What happened to Rocket Railways? Not seen them. Yeah, something. I'm not sure what happened. Maybe they put a video up a while ago saying they were just closing down. I'm not sure if he wasn't well or something happened, but it just seemed, and he was gone. Oh, Particle Station, Charlie, how are you doing, sir? It's quite a bright headlight on the DRS Class 47. Yeah, it is unbelievably bright, because when I'm sat down and watching TV or whatever, it does catch your eye. It doesn't help when you're involved in 2 expensive model trains and vinyl records. My son likes collecting his vinyl records, and he's getting a bit annoyed recently because he started watching train videos on YouTube, and he says what he finds annoying is that I'm actually enjoying them. I said, "Ha ha, it's in the genes. You're trapped." And I said to him the other day about taking his girlfriend up to Castle Rock, get the train from Derry, have something to eat, go for a walk on the beach. He goes, "Oh yeah, that'd be nice, go on a train ride." I thought, ha ha ha. I'll have him in here on a Thursday night yet. Yeah, I say, Charlie, I got the 4 lines set up here. They're not wired in properly, so really each line only has one connection, and I've sort of hardwired the frogs on the points and that just to have the trains running around, just to test, make sure the track configuration works and everything, before I do the final bit of gluing and pinning down and then cutting the tracks. Yeah, it's sad to see people disappear from YouTube, but I think some people get either burnout with YouTube because it does take a long time. Like I spent Saturday, I was there from 10 and I left about 3:30 at the show. And most of that time I spent filming myself and the daughter. Well, she'd done most of the filming. I was just talking over the film. And then you spend 3 or 4 evenings then uploading it and compiling it and edit, and then another hour or so uploading it to YouTube, doing the thumbnail, and it does take time. And you do get a bit of burnout. And then you get that thing as well. Whenever I'm doing some modeling, I'm like, oh, I should have a camera on this, instead of just getting on with it. Like, I think Wren, Hornby, Duplo, Trang has gone through tough times, war and all, and somehow survived. But some had to move on as the drive for the best, more lights, etc., always improving. He's got the bug. Oof, the model train bug continues. Yeah. House Hobbies went and took me for 83 quid and backwards. Woo. Yeah, we had a couple of talks there. That was because it was Heritage Week in Ireland. Now, unfortunately, those talks, because they contain copyright material, photos and stuff like that, they were only up online for a limited time. So that's why they've disappeared off my channel. That was the agreement. We could have them up for a few days and then take them down. So obviously, they're on my channel. They're just, switched to private. I would say expensive taste and hobby is living in a pauper's lifestyle. I think I caught up with the chat there. Right, let's do some soldering. This is the bit you're all waiting for to see if I burn my fingers. Right, where is my little, got my little wire brush pencil. Just rough up the back of the rail. So let me move this camera over so you can have a close-up of me burning my fingers. Woo! It would be handy as well as having a third hand just to... Right, let's get some solder on here. Burning question, will Donegal Dad Rail swear or contain his swearing? So what I'm doing here is just tinning the wires. So that's just running a bead of solder up the wire. And then I'm going to pop. Ow! Ah! Watch the wire top once you've just soldered it. All right, I'm just going to put a blob of solder on the back of the rail. I didn't swear. I don't think I did. All right, so I'm just going to put the wires to the outside because there's that lovely smell of a bit of burning plastic. Not much was contained. Burning in smell is, yeah. Grace, have you ever got your a shock off your static graphs applicator yet? Because, there's quite a zap on that. When you have that moment lapse of concentration and you reach your hand into the hopper, you realize you haven't switched it off. Oh, that tingles. Anyone have a timer how long that took before he burned himself? Yeah, I don't think it was very long at all. Right, I'm trying to, so you can see on there, a couple of blobs of solder. Oh, I must put that across the track and sort it out the track. Okay, let's move that to one side. Normally what I would do with these is I would have them inside like that, because obviously I'd pull them through the baseboard, but because these are being assembled and disassembled, I'm having the wires run to the outside. Also, I go with the old wiring convention, black to the back, but of course it doesn't matter in this case because it didn't go in very well. That's the thing with trying to get in a position so you guys can see and I can solder at the same time. There we go. Clean my tip off. Over there, there's one done. You can see the wires now. So what I'll do is I'll find a couple of connectors and put them on the end there so they can connect their power supply to it. I'll put that over there. Crack open a cold Dr. Pepper. Oh, yeah. see, I'm just using the pincers there just to hold the wires while I solder them. The other handy thing to use when you're soldering is little bits of blue tack if you don't have a third. Oh, there's my shaky hand coming in. Also, when you're soldering, because this is lead, usually I would have a fan blowing so it blows the smoke away from my face. To one side, track back in, the back a little bit of a clean. Couple of blobs of solder. That's off. Just check the chat for a minute. Hi, Joanne Swanpool. How are you doing? Oh, New Model Railways in as well. How are you doing? We learned to spit on things if they weren't marked as hot. Used to work on with sheets of foam size 1 by 2 meters. You soon find out what static shocks are about using that material. Ooh. Hi, Rob. Shocking. Yes, great. Excellent vid of outtakes. What temp am I using? I have got it set at about 375, which is obviously Celsius, which is on this, looks about 750 Fahrenheit, I think, if that's right. And I'm just using the tip it came with, which is just a thin tip. And then I use this little brass wire wool for keeping the tip clean. Because apparently you aren't supposed to use wet sponges because it damages the tip. So you get Dr. Peppers in 3 flavors over here in the SA. Yeah, there is a shop that sells some American sweets and stuff, which I have to say, Anthony or any other Americans near that Hershey's chocolate and other stuff. Ugh, horrible. Sorry. But they import all the different cans and flavors. So you get like cherry Dr. Pepper, vanilla Dr. Pepper. And that was one of the things I've done when I was in Florida a few years ago. They have the machines you go up to, and they have like Coke, Dr. Pepper, 7-Up or whatever it is. And then you can add all the different flavors to it, like lemon, orange, cherry, vanilla. So you can make a right concoction, which of course I did, being the child that I am. Yeah, I like the cherry ones. I used to love cherry Coke and vanilla Coke. I do have a very sweet tooth. Yeah, Maura says, don't forget to hit the like button for me, please. Boxcar Jerry, good evening, Jerry. How you doing, sir? Wet sponges, damaged tip. Was that the tip? Rob uses the wet as the station he's got. That was awful. Yeah, apparently it damages the tip. So get yourself one of these. I think it was like £2 or £3 off eBay. Or if you're at some of the shows, Squires usually do these if they're at the shows. Yeah, the brass ones is the ones you should get. Although this, it is brass, but it feels more like plastic. But it is brass because obviously it doesn't melt. It makes good chocolate milk and goes good on ice cream, but on its own bitter and strong. Yeah, apparently the reason why American chocolate is different is they, during the war when they were making it, they used milk powder, I believe, instead of milk. And that's why there's a difference in the chocolate. Something like that mightn't be exactly correct, but there's some difference they use. And also I think they use a higher cocoa content as well than maybe we do in our chocolate here. I'm not going to even try and pronounce those names you got in there, saying where you're from, Turco Railways. I like Hershey's cookies and cream, but only occasionally went through a stage of eating those. See, Whisper is my chocolate bar of choice, I suppose. I eat that all day, every day. Hi, Robert. How you doing? I can't remember whether I said hello to you or not. Oh, it seems to be brass-coated steel. Yeah. As I look closely at this one. Yeah, it seems to be brass all the way through. Surely it would cost more to coat steel with brass than to just have brass. When I was in the States, I tried the lemon one, which I thought was horrible. The orange one was really sickly sweet, the orange Coke. But I used to like the vanilla and the cherry. And the cherry Coke in the States tastes really cherry. Darkies. So with leaded root beer. Well, just to let people know what's running around is the burgundy colored one on the outermost loop is class 37 in EWS colors. The one next to that is another 37, Rail Operations Group, or the Phoenix livery. And then the two orange ones, well, the one that's running around is the A class, that's Irish Rail. And then the other one, which has stopped again, which I'll just shoe on, that is class 181. Which you'll see going around. They're pulling a mixture of Mark IV and Mark III coaches. I put these coaches on because the longest ones I have, just to test all the curves, make sure they go around, they don't hit off each other, that sort of thing. Yeah, Belgians do make good chocolate. Yeah, they have, the Cadbury's chocolate has changed a bit since Kraft took it over. The milk chocolate, it's got a funny twang to it now. It doesn't taste the same. But I do like the Galaxy chocolate. Jason Dick, Money of Rocket Railways. Oh, there's a new venture, is there, Clive? Ah. Leicester Station TMD, good evening, sir. How are you doing? So US chocolate was like that to stand higher temps without melting. Terry's chocolate. Terry's chocolate orange seems to be a staple of Christmas time. Oh, they do, last year, was it? They brought out the mint one. That was really nice. They use hazelnuts. Yeah, my daughter's got a slight, well, she has a nut allergy. Not one that, she takes a nut, immediately swells up, but has a reaction. And we do have EpiPens just in case. Yeah, the orange Fanta, the color of that in the States is really, really orange, as opposed to sort of the yellowy orange we have over here. It was really a dark, dark orange. Hi, Elizabeth. I will try and remember that's your name. You will learn from me that I am terrible with names. And anybody who ever runs into me at a show, I will probably recognize you, and I will have the look of a rabbit caught in the headlights because my brain's going, no, I don't know what their name is. No, you do know them, yeah, and you've watched their live streams and everything. You know exactly who they are, but no. It's like my brain just disappears off into the distance. Nothing on our track now, Jason's fault. Need an NIR locomotive. Yeah, there was a few for sale at the show, but I'm not buying anything else. I'll say that quietly. I'm getting the ones off the ship. Hi, Aaronville. How you doing? Galaxy is now very waxy. Immigrated to South Africa in 1894. Kraft ruined my cream egg. Well, they got smaller. I noticed that this year. They're slightly, well, everything's suffering from shrinkflation, to be honest. Carmack bars, yeah. The Swiss Lindt chocolate, that's nice. Bourneville chocolate. How have we migrated onto chocolate from trains? Steady on, Grace. Coconut balls? What are you after there? We don't want to bring the stream down to your level. We'll start talking about tights again. Oh yeah, Gary, I've seen that. You had to rip up your layout. Are you going to be able to put it back down again once the work is done? I'm just going to solder these two. I haven't caught up with the chat yet, but I'll just solder these two on, and then I can switch the soldering iron off. There we go. Put that away. Switch it off. Only burnt myself once. I think that's a result. Ooh. Oh, I can. concentrate on the track for the last 8 minutes. Let's see, can I make it to the end in 8 minutes? I eat those coconut ones very quickly. I'm sure you do, Grace. or is that Rob? Imagine art supplies and tights. Start rocking. Oh no. Joyce and I will wear name tags when we come to Orly on Saturday. You'll have to swap them round. Joyce will say Anthony, and Anthony will say Joyce, just to confuse me. Squirrel! Don't eat them anymore. They're too high in cholesterol. I have a reaction to chocolate. When I see it, I eat it. Oh dear, you're not caught up yet when you mentioned tights before I typed. Say their name 3 times in a conversation. Oh, the track I was soldering, this is somebody left their track and trains and everything into the museum because they weren't working properly. So what I've done is I've just soldered some droppers on their track for them. It's I'll show you that it's these Thomas and Percy and Gordon over there. So it's some children's trains. So just to make them work. Ooh. That was the camera falling over. Just to make their trains run a little bit better. I'm going to put it back up in the loft or get a shed. Yeah. Well, if you can get a shed and insulate it and make it nice and cozy and make it your man space, go for that. But I know you're saying it's not your house, which makes it more difficult. My model club said I should buy Pico Code 75 for my 00 plans. What do you all think? I would say it depends on what stock you're running. If you're running modern stock, Code 75 will be fine. If it's anything older with deeper flanges, you'll get derailment problems with Code 75. So you remember, Code 75 is a smaller profile than Code 100. Shed would be better area for when you get older. Cool. The thing is, by the time you get older, you'll probably have rebuilt your model railway about 5 or 6 times. I was saying about chocolate there. Apparently, when my dad was living in Bristol years ago, one of his cousins worked in the oh, I forget the name of them now, but in Bristol they made liqueurs, and she used to get a big bag of seconds and bring them home every weekend, every Friday, because you'd pay halfpenny or something and get a big bag of rejects. They'd eat so many of them, they'd make themselves sick and slightly drunk as well. Poppin' candy one. Yeah. You know what I like is that the Cadbury's bar that's got the poppin' candy in it, the like little bits of Smarties and the jellies in them. Is it Marvelous Creations they call it? That's really nice. Yeah, my missus likes poppin' candy. You give her a little packet of poppin' candy and she just puts it in her mouth and she just giggles like a little girl. Camera falling. Must have realized it's working overtime. Right, well, we got 2 minutes to go. I think I've reached the bottom. Either that or my chat has froze. So I'll start saying goodbye now. Thanks for tuning in. As I say, I'm not here next Thursday. If somebody wants to come up and volunteer to do the slot, let me know and I'll push it out on my social media, let everybody know. Yeah, I think my chat just has frozen, which is why I've got to the bottom of it. Yeah, it had. Now I've refreshed it. Yeah. Where are we? Oh, so I'll say goodnight to everyone. I'm trying to get through the chat here. So it did freeze on me. Yeah, as I was code 100 everywhere, it's hard to reach in case of derailment. Very true. When I end the stream now, it will kick you all over to Jason, so I'll probably catch you all over there. All right, Anthony, take care. Alternates wafers. You've got to have your mouth open when eating poppin' candy too. Yeah. Right, there we are. It's 9 o'clock. I'm going to end the stream there. I haven't made it to the bottom of the chat, but thanks for tuning in, guys. I'll see you in 2 weeks' time. Video out tomorrow on the show I was at the weekend. And I'll see you shortly over on Jason's stream. So take care, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. Bye.